Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. We're so excited and happy to have you guys here. Before we even start, I just want to say how appreciative we are of all your support, your kind words, your love on our last episode. If you didn't know, we just posted a soft launch of our first little mini episode. It was kind of more of like an introduction, and we were just testing the mic and the quality in the video out. And we just want to say thank you guys for all the love on our first little episode. But today I really want to, as you guys can see, my partner in crime is not here. He's a little bit under the weather. So he's getting better, but he lost his voice a little bit. So it would have been very hard for him to be here and sit down with me and talk because his voice is a little bit off. But today I wanted to take advantage and record an episode for you guys about one of the questions that I get most often, and that's how I got into the profession that I'm in, how I chose chiropractic, and kind of like when it all started. So I wanted to sit down with you guys and talk to you about how that came to be and how chiropractic got introduced into my life and how I really knew that it was meant for me and what I want to do in my life. So I will take you guys way back to when I was in college, university. And if you didn't know, I'm from Canada, so I did my university out there. I was in my bachelor program, and I remember this so vividly. My older sister, who, you guys know the older sister, they just have it all figured out, and they know exactly what they're doing. She was actually asking me and my twin sister, like, what are you guys going to do? Like, what's going on? What are you guys going to do with your life and your degree? And in my family, not that a degree or a bachelor's is not enough, but they definitely wanted us to like go a step further and get some kind of postgraduate or doctorate degree. So that's when I really had to do some thinking and figure out, okay, what am I using? At the time, I was in a kinesiology degree or human kinetics. And I was like, what am I going to do with this degree? I always knew that I wanted to be in the health profession. I knew that I did not want to be on the medical side of things or pharmaceutical side of things. I knew that I wanted to be in something more holistic and alternative type of treatment and care. So at the time, I really didn't know about chiropractic at all. The one thing that I thought of that I possibly could go into was physical therapy. And so I was really considering that as an option for myself. Way back when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So until it was a time that I remember vividly. We were, for those of you who don't know, we own a restaurant back home in Ottawa, and our high school is right next to the restaurant we grew up working in and being in most of our life. And I remember I had a physical education teacher that used to come to our restaurant often to eat, and she kind of knew my dad and obviously knew us. And she asked my dad about us, and she was like, "Hey, like what is Rebecca up to? What is she doing?" Mind you, it had been 4 years since I had graduated high school. So she was kind of just catching up with my dad, seeing where we were all at, what we were doing, how we were doing, and she was like, what is Rebecca up to? What did she choose to do? What degree is she in? And I remember kind of my dad telling me all about the conversation. She ends up telling my dad, I know this amazing chiropractor that's down the street. I think Rebecca should go visit her and shadow her and see if that's something that she would want to do. So long story short, that's what I ended up doing. I ended up going to Dr. Natalie Beauchamp. I ended up going to her office and shadowing her for, I think what was like a few days. I can't remember right now, but I think it was a few days that I shadowed her for. And you guys, I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I vividly remember shadowing her and what she was doing and how she practiced. There was a patient that walked in, and at the time I had no idea what was going on with him, but hindsight, I now know what all the complications that he was having. He basically couldn't walk. So he came into the office limping. He needed assistance to get to the treatment room. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like what the heck is she going to be able to do for him, like in her treatment room? Like, he doesn't look well. Like, Anyways, I'll never forget. He walks into the treatment room pretty much crippled and walks out of her treatment room walking completely straight, like nothing was wrong. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, what the heck did she do in there? Like that, I was so amazed and so like taken back by his, like how he was doing right after one session. So of course, right after that, I was like, I need to know everything about this profession. I need to know what they do and what's going on and how I can sign up and get right into it and get started. So long story short, after that one moment, I actually ended up working with Dr. Natalie Beauchamp at her clinic for, I think, over the summer, and absolutely loved it. I was so amazed by everything that she was doing. The one thing I remember really clearly as a child, and what kind of led me to know this is exactly where I belong and exactly the profession I need to be in, is because when I was young and I got sick, and I got sick often actually, I remember. And I remember my dad and my parents, you know, being like, okay, we need to go to the doctors, you need to get some medication, you need to take antibiotics. And I was the toughest out of the four of us to take medication at all. I never wanted to take medication. I never knew why exactly. I think it was mostly the taste of it. I just didn't really care to I hated swallowing pills and capsules. And I hated the taste of antibiotics. And so I remember my dad always telling me like, you were the toughest kid to take any medication. And I would just basically like not take it and just get better on my own. And I would always get better. And that just kind of like stuck with me until adulthood. And I think that as I was getting older and older, I just had obviously more knowledge and more awareness of like, okay, I don't want to take medication and I don't want to take antibiotics. And I know the pros and cons to them now. And I want to try and do everything I can to prevent getting sick and to help, just prevent from any illness or, back home we got the flu a lot. And so I was always trying to just stay as healthy as I could be. I was really into working out. I was very into sports and just the human body in general and just like taking care of myself. I was fascinated by it, like supplements and remedies you can do at home and natural and holistic types of treatments that I could get. I absolutely loved every aspect of that. So I think that carried into, when it came time to choose a profession, it's what I knew, it's what I loved, it was a passion of mine. And I knew exactly when I was introduced to the chiropractic profession that this was meant for me. Like I knew that I needed to be in this profession and that I could be in a profession where I could help people and others avoid medication, avoid unnecessary surgeries, be as healthy as they could be. That's exactly how it kind of, from what I remember, how it kind of like happened and went down. So fast forward to when I applied to school. I applied to one, and I know anyone listening to this who's applied to a doctorate program, whether it's dentistry, naturopathic doctor, optometry, chiropractic, physical therapy, whatever it might be, you might think I'm crazy. I applied to one school. And I told myself, if I get into this one school, then it's meant for me. So I ended up applying to the Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College. This was back in, 2013. I was 21 or 22 years old. And I remember that summer, school started in August. And it was, what month was it? It was a summer. It was like June, July, and then into August. And I still hadn't heard from the school. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get in. What the heck am I going to do now? And so we were working at our family restaurant. And I remember because I knew I was going to be there most of the time, they give you a call when you get accepted. I gave them the restaurant's number. I put that on my application just so we wouldn't miss a call. And I remember my dad like every week asking, so did you hear, did you get a call? Like what's going on? And I'm like, no, I haven't heard. And I would ask him, did they call here? Did you hear from them? And he would say no. Until I think it was like the second week of August. And I believe that school started, don't quote me on this, but I think school started around the end of August, beginning of September. And you should have heard if you got accepted by that time. And I remember it was the second week of August and I still hadn't heard you guys. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? I was in my third year of my bachelor's in kinesiology. And I remember thinking, I do not want to finish this degree. I don't want to do a thesis. I don't want to be in fourth year. I just want to get into this doctorate program and just start there and start fresh. And so one afternoon I was at the restaurant and the phone rang. And I can't remember if my dad answered or if I answered. I think it was me. I think I answered the phone. I was at the front serving customers, and I answered the phone, and the person on the phone was like, hey, is Rebecca there? And I remember saying, yeah, it's me. And they were like, hi, this is the Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College. We're calling to let you know that you've been waitlisted. And so at the time, I know that sounds like crazy, like, okay, I didn't get accepted yet. But at the time, I remember being like, okay, I got waitlisted. Okay, this is a step forward. This is a positive thing. And I remember like waving down my dad in the back who was cooking and being like, Dad, like, it's happening. Like, I think at the time I was like, oh my God, what the heck does waitlisted mean? Like, I just thought, this is great. Like, this is so good. And then, so yeah, I was waitlisted, and I was waitlisted for a little while. So the way the waitlist works is that if they have space to take you on, they take the top. You don't know how long the waitlist is. It could be a waitlist of 100 people. So if they don't have enough people for the program, they will take some people off the waitlist and they'll get accepted. And so I remember hearing back shortly after I got the call that I was removed off the wait list and that I'm officially accepted into the program. And I remember you guys feeling so much joy. I was so happy. Like, we literally were screaming in the restaurant up and down. And so yeah, I got accepted. So just all that to say that, like, it was not a linear path. It was very up and down. I didn't even know if I was going to be in the chiropractic profession. I applied to one school and got waitlisted, and then got accepted. And so it was just a really exciting, just roller coaster of emotions. But yeah, so that's how I got into the chiropractic profession. That's how I started. It was so much, there was so much excitement for me to get in because I knew it was something I always wanted to do. I never pictured myself being in a doctorate program at all, to be honest. I think it was a little bit of like, can I get in? Am I smart enough? Like, do I have the grades for it? Are they going to pick me? Like, who knows? But I say all that to say is that if you're listening, believe in yourself. If I can do it, you can do it. I promise you that. So if you have a goal or a dream to do anything that you want in this world, you can do it. Just the first step is just believing in yourself and understanding that if the person next to you can do it, you can do it too. There's no difference. So that was like just the most exciting part of my life, I think. And I was really excited to get into the profession and into the program. Now, everything that came after that, the excitement started to dwindle because it got real, and it was a really tough program, and it was actually tough to stay in the program. But I'll leave all of that for another podcast episode because there's just a lot to say about that. But yeah, that is how I got into the chiropractic profession. I know everyone has their own little story about how they entered, the specialty that they're doing or just what they're doing in their life, in their career, in their profession. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am so excited to be doing what I'm doing. And years later now, I'm still in the chiropractic profession, still practicing, just still helping patients. And I absolutely love doing what I do. And I'm so happy I chose this profession. But anyways, thank you guys for listening. Leave us your feedback down below. Share your stories with us down below in the comments. We're so excited to see you for the next episode, and I will see you guys soon. And I know Mo will be back for these these next upcoming episodes. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you later.